Hello and good day, ladies and gentlemen. Skitzotech here. It's been a while, but since I've waited literally 8 years for a proper Battlefield game to release, I'm back once again to give constructive feedback on what my thoughts are about the beta. We're going to ignore things like poor performance, because oh boy, is it poor. But as from what I've heard, I think it's a 2-month-old release version that they're giving us in the beta, so maybe there have been some optimized passes or something to make the performance better, fingers crossed. So we'll ignore that for now and go with other things, mainly gameplay focused things. So we'll start off with my number one peeve of Battlefield games, which is the inability to properly balance between vehicle and infantry combat. And we'll start off with the number one thing: choppers versus infantry. In fact, I should say choppers versus the entire game of Battlefield 2042. And that is that once there is a semi-decent chopper pilot on the map, then they alone can decide the outcome of said match. The entire match. They can just dominate and get 30, 40, 50 kill streak games. And that's how it was in Battlefield 4 as well. Once there was a little bird or an attack heli pilot out, they were unstoppable. And here in 2042 we seem to be having that same issue, because I spawn in as an infantry with a stinger, or whatever it's called in this game, and I spawn with 3. It takes literally 20 seconds sometimes to lock onto a heli. You fire it and it has a 10% chance of hitting, and that's without flares. You just fire it and it misses. And you only have 3. Like, how am I supposed to stop this chopper? So that's the only really glaring instance of, let's say, overtuned vehicles thus far that I've seen. I haven't really had trouble with vehicles other than the choppers. I haven't been killed by a jet enough to be pissed about it. I haven't been killed by tanks enough to be pissed about it. They all seem like if you focus fire them with your squad, that you can get them. Not the choppers. The choppers seem almost invulnerable. Moving on. Now this one comes from myself as a primarily infantry-based FPS player. The gunplay. The gunplay seems unfun. And what would I mean by gunplay? I mean, first of all, the recoil. The recoil is wild and out of control. I can understand having a buttload of vertical recoil. Understandable. I can understand it pulling off to the side in a recoil pattern after that. I can understand it. I can understand there being some visual recoil to try to confuse your eyes and throw you off a little bit. I get it. No worries. But in this game, there is this massive, unpredictable, side-to-side, wibble-wobble nonsense that's uncontrollable. You can do nothing to control that massive side-to-side wibble-wobble. And then there is sometimes vertical recoil, then there is sometimes no vertical recoil. Then it's back, then it's not, then it's back, then maybe. Was that vertical recoil? I don't know. I think it went up. Maybe it didn't. And it's every gunfight. Every gunfight. I do a 5-round burst, and there is massive vertical recoil, massive wibble wobble. Next second, I do another 5-round burst, same gunfight, same enemy I'm fighting, and the recoil just all of a sudden is gone, and it's pinpoint accurate, and the person dies in like 2 shots, or what feels like 2 shots. And it's like, but where did the recoil from the first burst go? And then the next gunfight you get in, and you're like, okay, maybe it's because I bursted one and then bursted another, and the second one didn't have recoil because of that's how they balance it. Nope. Nope. It's just random. It's fucking random. Like it was a bug. Like the recoil just decided to take a day off. And it does that from time to time. And I just don't get it. If the recoil was consistent, that would be one thing. Like if it was just this massive wibble wobble like you get sometimes in this game, that would be a problem, but I would still be more apt to adapting to it. But it's inconsistent. It's there 1 second, it's gone the next, it's half as strong, it's twice as strong, it's not there anymore. And it's like the roll of a dice. Right, dice. Now you know me, I can rant. I can very well rant. So let's stop talking about the inconsistent recoil and let's move on to the other part of Gunplay that annoys me, which is the reload system. You only have regular sized magazines in your guns. So if you have like an assault rifle, it has 30 rounds in it, unless you use specialized ammo, but we aren't speaking about that. We're speaking about the regular ammo that you use in regular combat. And it's like 30 rounds, 30 plus 1, and the reload time is atrocious for a magazine that only has 30 rounds in it. Regular gunfights, which usually last 3 to 5 seconds in, let's say, Battlefield 4, for some reason in Battlefield 2042 last 15 plus seconds now. You and single enemy just having a one-on-one duel of fate, and you're just there just throwing rounds randomly at each other because the recoil is just insane. You dump a magazine, 30 plus 1, just gone. So you have to reload, and you're standing there, and you're reloading, and 20 seconds later he decides after he's done dusting off the side of his gun that, okay, we're ready to shoot again. And then you finish him off. If you're going to have 30 rounds in your gun, let the reload times be quick. Because it just feels like busy work, like you threw in a long reload just to increase the time it takes to have a gunfight. And it doesn't feel good. That's what I'm getting at, basically. In Call of Duty, guns have 60 rounds, sometimes more, in additional magazines that you could put in as attachments. And with that, they can have long reload times, even though they don't, which is one of the problems I have with that game. The larger mag is, the longer the reload time should be. So, for example, let's say I had a 60 round mag in my M5 or whatever it's called. I can then fully understand it having such a long reload time. I get it. That would be understandable. But not every 30 rounds. You hold the trigger down for 3 seconds and now you need to go through a 7-8 second reload. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good as a player to have to slog through that when you're taking fire. It's a video game at the end of the day. It needs to be fun. And to be honest, I think that's it. I think after that, there isn't anything really like glaring about what I've experienced thus far. Snipers may need a bit of a bullet velocity increase. DMRs may need a bit of a bullet velocity decrease, and maybe a damage decrease. All fully automatic weapons need their recoil tuned in a way that it can be challenging but doable. In the state it's in right now, it's not doable. I'm not sure if it's a bug or if not, but something needs to happen with the recoil, because that shit it's pretty cheeks. Other than that, I like everything else thus far. Tune the performance a little bit, get me some more FPS, maybe tune how the mouse feels, because sometimes I get the feeling like if my mouse is maybe moving through slush, like it's a little bit laggy, but that could just be overall performance issue. So Maybe that should be left in the please fix the performance spot? Who knows? I can't really fault anything else with the beta thus far. So, I'll continue playing, and if I run into anything else, I'll make another video. Peace, and have a great day.
I would love it if people could start spotting things and shit.
Nobody's in the F4 state, so no.
What the fuck was that?
Sign of laser guided stuff, please, please, Jesus.
Get what you're saying.
Oh my god! Tank! What? Ow!
It's just how I roll.
We are in control of Sector Foxtrot.
Seems like the auto heal on the vehicles is a lot slower than it is in 4.
It is. You're a spotter.